But first of all, let's explore this. Yes, that thinks the first thoughts that comes to your head, but you never. I'm not the main character in everybody's story. Hey man, what's good? Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already caught it, my name is Oluwadonsalami, and thanks so much for clicking this video. One of the most popular pieces of advice you would get throughout your lifetime is most likely to be yourself. Don't conform with the world. Try your best to be who you are. Don't change yourself for anybody. But I'm here to tell you today that being yourself is actually unattainable. For me, I think that being oneself is insane and it's somehow toxic, because it's funny the amount of times we actually have to remind ourselves to be ourselves. If we truly can be ourselves at all times, I don't think we have to remind ourselves to be ourselves. Like, do you get me? In this video, I'm going to be talking about the reasons why I think being yourself is unattainable. First of all, I want you to realize that you're not the main character in everybody's story. You're only the main character in your own story. So if you are behaving yourself or not, people won't notice. Why? Because they don't give a shit. Don't get me wrong. Not being yourself or acting wrongly to others might have its effects on them, but base level, nobody cares. Okay, so it's good to be yourself and all, but first of all, let's explore this yourself. I want to say that yourself is the natural you. The you that you are when nobody is around. Like the you that thinks the first thoughts that comes to your head but you never see. That is you. That is yourself. Naturally, as human beings, we have both negative and positive traits. But then we tend to suppress our negative traits, all in the name of being a good person. Like, for example, naturally we are self-absorbed, but we don't try to show that we are self-absorbed. In fact, we try to show that we are selfless. And then, therefore, you're no longer like your natural state. You're not in your natural state. So now, I want you to know that if you act the way you feel at any given time, you will be deemed socially unacceptable, and therefore, you tend to follow the already established social guidelines, suppressing a part of you. That means you're no longer being yourself, because you're not acting the way you want to act. You're not acting the natural you. A lesser-known book by Timla Hai is The Spirit's Control Temperament, which is somewhat of a sequel to the very popular Why You Act the Way You Do. In this book, Timla Hai tells us that every temperament cannot remain the same like till the day of death. You have to suppress some traits that you have and even take in some new. Where I come from, there's an adage that says when you've been given birth to, you have to rebirth yourself. But then it really means that at some point you have to redefine your behaviors and then your character in general. Okay, so now even if you decide that you're perfect the way you are and then you're not going to change your character for anything, as I said earlier, you'll be deemed as socially unacceptable, socially unrelatable, and you'll be a force to not be reckoned with. There are some situations that you find yourself, and then if you act the way you are, it's not going to turn out good for you. And there are a lot of opportunities that you'll miss if you decide that you'll be in your natural state at all times. Furthermore, like, there are some jobs that even require you to almost entirely change your personality or modify your personality, and then don't tell me that you miss a job all in the name of, oh, I can't be myself, so why am I doing this job? Even going to school, a lot of circumstances in life would require you to modify your natural state. Some might call this pretending or even forming, but seriously, let's be frank with ourselves. Has there never been a time that you have never formed before? If you have, it's not a bad thing. I like to call this comporting yourself or fitting into the social system. Again, if you speak whatever you feel or whatever comes to your mind at any given time, you are either deemed a fool or rude or even lacking emotional intelligence. As you are supposed to know that the way you talk affects other people, either positively or negatively. And so, in conclusion, I'm not trying to tell you not to be a free person or that you aren't entitled to your thoughts, but I want you to open your eyes and know that it's not a bad thing if you modify your characters here and there. And it's not that, and it's not an entirely terrible thing to decide which versions of yourself you put out there, and that it's okay to bring different versions of you along to different places that you go. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, like it, comment down below
that
your
you
opinions,
had
and subscribe
you
to this YouTube
you
channel
you
for more
could
videos
you
like
do
this.
you
Thank
you
you
want
so much.
you
Bye.
could do so that you had you could you do you want you could do so